Hello, I am in this old space that I used over the summer, and I'm coming to you from here because there are some people doing work upstairs. So I thought I would come down here and get a collective reading out to you. I have not pulled the cards yet, but I did pre-shuffle. And in the pre-shuffle, what I could already see is that we're sitting in a really powerful new start type of energy. There's a new start that's underway, a lot of powerful change. There's old energy that's being cleared out. But that is a process. It's not an overnight thing. If this reading is for you, you probably already feel that. That's probably already something that you've been aware of. I also do get this sense that because it is a process, that it's like this old energy isn't going to go without a fight. However that applies in your life. So let's say this is about a relationship that's coming to a close. It might feel like there's a lot of resistance to that process happening. That energy might only leave with a lot of kicking and screaming. This change, this shift is important for you because letting this end, letting this energy go, is what frees you up to raise you to the energetic vibration that you're the most aligned with at this time. And staying connected with this other energy would hold you back from being able to do that. And that doesn't honor you. It also doesn't honor the other energy. It's time to part ways and let your paths diverge. Now, this does not have to be speaking about a relationship. This might be your alignment with an energy inside of you that has really held you back. What I'm sensing is that in truth, that was never yours. You breaking away from that energy, while it has taken time, is part of your divine plan. It served its purpose, and its presence in your life was purposeful. And if this is another person, then the opposite is also true. Your presence in their life was also purposeful, but the need for that has come to an end. That purpose has come to an end. Okay, so is there anything else? Oh, because this is a process, there's a need for discernment. The old energy does still linger. This process cannot be rushed and you'll need to go slow. I just jotted down a few words, but I'm sort of like reading into those messages that were coming out of the pre-shuffle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause, get the cards on the table, and then come back. Okay, I am back and I have the cards out on the table. So what I want to say out the gate is that very much a new start is coming. So part of what I'm getting out of this reading so far, just as an underlying energy, is that there's a bit of a, like, for lack of a better word, a test going on here in the collective. And, you know, maybe we would say in the world at large. And the test involves an acknowledgement that we're always partnering with somebody, with some energy, there's partnerships that are happening that are formed all the time. We're partnering with an ideology, we're partnering with our intimate partners, with our friendships. We're even making partnerships on the inside with certain aspects of ourselves, and maybe sometimes working in opposition to other aspects of ourselves, which always requires some healing. So as an underlying energy, this reading really wants to start off with that understanding, because then it seems as though this test has to do with what we choose to partner with at all levels. Are we partnering with fear or love? Are we partnering with people who honor us in our fullness or who don't allow us to be our fullest divine selves? Yeah, it seems to be this question of what is it that you're partnering with? There's this synergy card and the underlying energy as well. And there is confusion around that and lots of options. The Page of Cups often speaks to the fact that there are a lot of options and that it can be confusing. Some of this new start seems to be about the fact that you're wanting to make a shift in one or more of those partnerships, which would very much usher in this new start. But again, like I said, when I was sharing the pre-shuffle energy, the other half of the partnership is not going to go without a fight. It's wanting to cling. And so in the first row here that shows up right away, I have will, and I see this as you sort of determined using your will to try and shift into better alignment with partnerships at all levels that resonate with you and who it is that you're becoming. Your North Node energy, the energy that you're moving into in this new season of your life. And this series of moon phases here is speaking to me today about time and the fact that this has been a process and that you're sort of positioned in the middle of that process right now. The more you move in this direction, the more that your new start is going to unfold. But then what came out along with that is resistance. And I see this as the other part of the partnership, the other person, the energy that you're looking to leave behind, however that resonates in your life. And this is that energy sort of clinging to you, wanting to keep you here, not wanting you to move forward through those moon phases onto your new start. And what I'm picking up from this card today is that this is a really destructive energy. This is wanting to hold on to you at all costs. And then along with that, I have the Page of Swords, which I also see as you. At the Page of Swords, I like to think of as an enthusiastic disciple. It's also a young energy. This to me symbolizes the fact that regarding this new season, you're a youthful energy. It's new energy for you. So you're learning, maybe you're excited, you're wanting to take action, and it feels like that's supported. But what's interesting is that there is this consistent message to go slow, and the Page of Wands doesn't really want to go slow, but it feels important because what you're navigating is really sticky territory, and in order to navigate it very carefully, it's going to require patience, love, and grace. So while there is action that you can take, it's action that needs to align with where you are in the current phase of the process. In other words, if you were to try and jump into this energy and take fiery action, it's not going to be in alignment with the process. The process needs to unfold slowly, but you can take action from the place that you're anchored in right now, which is partway through the process. Honor this phase. So it's saying, yes, take action, but take action from that place and surrender the need to control the precise unfolding, the pace of the unfolding. In the second row, what I have along with that is this reciprocity. The reciprocity card speaks about partnerships. What's striking me about this card in this reading is the fact that she's facing in the other direction. She's facing toward the light. There's all these little light orbs, and they're green. From a spiritual standpoint, green really speaks to healing. So it feels as though she's wanting to walk in the direction of her healing. She's orienting her body, her heart, her soul, her spirit, her vision toward healing, toward the light. And what came along with that is the Sun and the Ace of Wands. To me, what this is saying is that you have this knowing, this download of information that is truth. The Sun is truth. It is illumination. In many ways, this is a wake-up call, an awareness that maybe you had been operating from a place of some illusion, that it might have been really hard to see the truth in some ways, in some aspect of your life, and that the truth was illuminated for you. At some point along the lines, it woke you up and it led you to turn toward healing, growth, away from this more shadowy energy of illusions toward more clarity for yourself. And then in the next row, what I see coming out on the heels of that is divine alignment. The Nine of Cups is your breakthrough, your divine alignment, which then allows what you really want, the energy that you want to be sitting in your life, to be pulled in. This is you accessing that. You can see it's fully illuminated now. There's no illusion. It's very bright with the sun in the background. But then what came along with that really indicates to me that as you navigate toward that season of inner fulfillment, of divine alignment, you're going to want to really set some firm boundaries, because again, there is old energy that still has not fully left the scene and that would like to, at all costs, really cling to the old partnership. And so what came out along with all of that is they are hurting and they are deceiving you. So of course, there is a need for boundary here. I think that what's really being highlighted is that in order to receive the full illumination of the sun, you need to be willing to stay anchored in the truth, to keep your gaze turned in that direction, to remain boundaried, because the older energies would still like to cast some illusion onto the picture. And we're just not having that. I feel like it's really important to emphasize that this is not meant to instill fear. In fact, the illusion is that there is something to fear here. In truth, you're a powerful being with a lot of divine will and a lot of protection. And so the next row really speaks to the type of energy that would be useful to sit in as you're navigating through this process. I have the King of Cups here, which is the ultimate representation of steadiness, inner sovereignty, and love. This is a strong love-based, power position, very deeply anchored and rooted, strong and confident, heart-led place. When in doubt, remember this energy. This is where you want to position yourself. You're strong, you're powerful, and you are heart-led and anchored in love. In fact, that's where your power comes from. Along with that, and the energy to be embodying is gratitude. So we have this steady, strong, love-based position paired with gratitude, which is really beautiful. In many ways, we already know in our deepest intuition and our deepest knowing that love and gratitude is always the way forward. This is simply stating the obvious, but that doesn't make it an easy energy to remember to anchor into. It's actually really hard when it feels as though this is what we're confronted with on the other end. But your test, perhaps, is to not meet this energy with the same energy. Don't mirror this and pour more destruction into the picture. Instead, to anchor yourself into a heart-led, sovereign position of power, anchored in gratitude and love, but also with very clear discernment. Just because you're anchored in love and gratitude does not mean that you don't see what it is that you need to see. You're bringing your discernment with you. And then the final row is really beautiful because it's really putting an exclamation point on the fact that this is an ending. This is the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is the end. This is the end of a cycle. That's where you're headed. That's why you're having a new start. But remember, you are going through this process. This is where you're ultimately landing. And then along with that, I have Temperance. So Temperance really speaks to alchemy. It speaks to transmutation. It really brings like a holy and divine aspect to this whole reading because Temperance really speaks to me about sacred integration. This whole experience has been a learning experience. It's meant to show you who you are, who you want to be, what sorts of energies you're willing to align with and partner with moving forward, and what simply doesn't meet the standard anymore. And then what came out along with that is the center card, which is the sun card in this deck. So you have the sun twice in this reading, which is a lot of illumination, a lot of truth that you have access to, that you're accessing at this time. What really struck me when I looked deeply at this card is that the sun is in full illumination here, and all of these planets seem to be coming into alignment. Once they do get into alignment, you have your new start. It really feels like this is this time component here, that you have the sun, it's illuminating, these planets are coming into alignment, you are moving through a process. This is really reminding me of the fact that when planets move, they don't move like this. They move very slowly, the moon rises very slowly, the sun comes up very slowly. So many of the examples that we see in nature, especially the aspects of nature that we see depicted in these cards, are slow, steady, but powerful shifts that happen. They happen in nature and they happen for us. And so what I have capping off that energy in the final row is believe and trust God. What an amazing way to close out the final row. It reminds me of where this reading started, this surrender. Surrender, believe, and trust God. That doesn't mean you can't take action. It just means don't fast forward and try to take action that would be more in alignment with the end of the process. Take action that's in alignment with where you are now. Honor where you are now, which might mean that the action you take is about grieving. It might mean that the action that you take is to go within, is to do some soul searching. Okay, I want to pull one final card from this beautiful Akashic Records deck that I have. I pulled one, I think, in the last reading as well. Okay, one card for the collective. Healing. Your body, mind, and soul are in a period of deep healing right now. You're going through many transformations at once, and you're being asked to allow yourself to receive the healing you need with open arms and an open heart. That's beautiful. I was just saying about how the action that you take may actually be about grieving at this time. So it really feels like it's reinforcing this idea that if you're taking action from the current place you are in the transmutation process, that action might not look like this. It might actually be really soft and surrendered action that's more inward focused, that's more focused around your healing. Okay, I also wanted to close this out with a spirit animal card, just because I haven't used this deck in a while, and I'm interested to see what might come out. I think my sister got me this deck, actually. Thank you, Yvette. Protector. It's beautiful. You're an old soul and your best friend is nature. Use your intuition to take you where you want to go. Awaken to the powerful force within you. You are meant to create blessings with your magic. It actually says white stag. So that's your spirit animal right now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close your reading out there. Take the very best care, and I'll be back again soon. Bye.